410 CE. This year is not a single date, but slowly starts with a creepy feeling. The feeling of something remains in the middle of the road while the eastern part of the Roman Empire expands. The Roman Empire, once seemingly eternal, now faces its twilight. The sun again rises and casts its golden rays to overall the landscape, but now the situation for both parts of the Roman Empire is completely different. One part of the land feels empty, while the other part of the city shines with energy. In one part, people struggle to get their basic needs, while in the other part, people enjoy the luxurious class life of this time. One can't handle the weight of past mistakes, pulls it down, and slowly it loses the strength to rise again. Meanwhile, the other writes about its future with confidence, growing stronger with every step. It is not just a story of the fall down of the western part of the Roman Empire, but a painful decline, the death of thousands of cuts. The part doesn't fall in a single moment, but it is declining over years, each loss of another thread pulled from the fabric that once held it together. Constantine's changes, his hold on Christianity, and his move eastward, all have had consequences. The empire split, not geographically, but in spirit. The west part, now it feels neglected. The wealth, the power, and the attention, it all flowed to the east, towards Constantinople and the Byzantine Empire. Rome, the ancient heart, slowly being drained. It feels like an old lion, but still proud. Its teeth are blunt, and its claws are worn. One of the biggest problems was the borders. They were vast enough, stretching across thousands of miles, and they were constantly under pressure. Barbarian tribes, Visigoths, Vandals, Ostrogoths, and countless others were on the move, pushed westward by forces further east. They were not attacking anymore, they were migrating, looking for new lands to settle in for a better future. The Roman army, which was stretched thin and also underpaid by the government, struggled to hold the line of migration. The Visigoths, they are a constant headache. In 410 CE, they committed an unrecognizable and shocking act. They attacked and looted Rome. Their leader, Alaric I, leads his warriors into the city. They take treasures, burn buildings, and capture people. For the first time in Roman history, nearly 800 years, the foreign army enters and takes over a great city. So it's a devastating blow, not just materially, but also psychologically. It shakes people's belief. Rome has always been strong and the center of power, but now it has become weak and exposed. The idea that Rome can never fall is gone. People feel lost. If Rome is not safe, what is? Some wonder if the gods have abandoned them. Others fear this is the beginning of the empire's end. The sack of Rome is a huge turning point, as no one will ever think about it. It shows that the empire is no longer as powerful as before. The world is changing, and Rome must now face a future where it is not the strongest force anymore. Then there are the Vandals. They move quickly across Gaul, which we call today France and Spain, destroying towns and taking whatever they want. They do not settle in these lands for a longer time, and they cross into North Africa, where they build a strong kingdom. From there, they grow even bolder. In 455 CE, they set sail for Rome, and when they arrive, they attack the city with full force. They break homes, steal treasures, and destroy buildings. Unlike other groups, they don't want to rule or become a part of its culture. They only care about taking as much as possible. They strip the city of its riches, carrying away gold, silver, and even valuable statues. Their actions leave the city in ruins. People are afraid of the level of destruction. This attack is so brutal that many years later, the word vandalism comes from their actions. Even today, people use this word to describe the act of destroying property on purpose. The Vandals do not stay longer. After looting everything, they return to North Africa. But the damage is done. Rome is weaker than ever, and its days of glory are almost over. But the problems are not just external. The Western Roman Empire is rotting from within. Political corruption is out of control. Emperors are often weak, incompetent, or simply puppets controlled by powerful generals. The Senate, once a respected body, is now largely irrelevant. Disagreement and interests consume the ruling class, distracting them from the real threats facing the empire. The economy is badly damaged. Trade is disrupted by barbarian raids and theft. Inflation is out of control, making it difficult for the common people to afford necessities of life. The rich get more rich and the poor become more poor, which promotes social division. The government struggles to collect taxes, weakening its ability to defend its border and maintain order. Slavery is deeply an immersed system, a pillar of the Roman economy. While many rely on it, slave rise continues to disrupt the power structure. As years go on, many dominant people can buy their freedom or escape, but it is difficult to fully break from the system when it is so deep-rooted. The army, once the pride of Rome, is now a shadow of its former self. Recruitment is down, as many Romans are afraid to serve in the military. The empire increasingly relies on barbarians' private army to fill its ranks. These private armies are often more loyal to their ruler rather than to Rome, making them unreliable in times of crisis. Christianity, while now a dominant religion, also contributes to the decline in precise ways. Some historians argue that it diverted resources and attention away from the traditional Roman values of military service and civic duty. Others believe that the importance of the afterlife has weakened people's commitment to the earthly empire. There is less focus on expansion and war, which some Romans find unsettling. Then there were barbarian generals who rose to power within the Roman army. These men come from outside Rome, but prove to be the strongest leaders. Figures like Stilicho and Aetius, though born to barbarian families, become Rome's greatest protectors. They fight to save the empire when Roman leaders fail to do so. Stilicho, an expert general, commands Rome's armies and wins significant fights against conquering forces like the Visigoths. He also made lawful agreements when required, balancing war and foreign policy to keep Rome safe and secure. But despite his sincerity, some Romans see him as a stranger and turn against him. Eventually, he is deceived and executed, leaving Rome weakened. Aetius, another powerful general, plays an important role in stopping Attila the Hun, one of history's most dreadful warriors. He brought Roman and barbarian forces together to fight in the Battle of the Catalaunian Plains in 451 CE. His leadership saves Western Rome from destruction, but Stilicho, his success makes enemies. The emperor sees him as a threat and has him killed. These generals show how much Rome now depends on outsiders for survival. Native Roman leaders failed to protect their empire, while these so-called barbarians fought to hold it together. Their rise proves that Rome is not what it used to be. In contrast to leading, Romans now rely on foreign-born fighters to protect their land. This is a clear sign that the empire is in decline. As the years passed, the Western Roman Empire narrowed. Region after region falls to the barbarian country. Roman authority became increasingly limited to Italy itself. The emperors become mere figureheads, powerless to stop the tide. They are stuck in the palace while the decisions are made by barbarian warlords and scheming generals. In 476 CE, it all came to an end. Odoacer, a barbarian general in Roman service, deposed the last Roman emperor in the West, a young man named Romulus Augustulus. Rather an iconic name written in history. Odoacer doesn't declare himself emperor, he simply sends the imperial regalia, the crown and scepter, to Constantinople, signaling that the Western Roman Empire no longer exists. It's not a bang, but a cry. There is no grand fight, no brave last stand. Just a quiet give-up to the unavoidable. The Western Roman Empire, after centuries of honor, disappeared into history. But what does this decline mean? The people living in Italy don't immediately notice a huge change in their day-to-day lives. Surely less central authority and more local strongmen are calling the shots, but life goes on. People still farm, trade, and pray. Roman law and practice continue to influence society. The language spoken eventually converts, but the roots of the culture remain. The fall of the Western Roman Empire isn't the end of progress, or even the end of Roman impact. It's reorganization, but a change in power. The Eastern Roman Empire, the Byzantine, kept growing and succeeding for centuries, maintaining Roman traditions and cultures. In the West, new kingdoms appear, built on the ruins of the old empire, carrying on aspects of Roman civilization in their unique way. The sun has set the Western Roman Empire, but its brilliance continues to shine, although in delicate form. It's a reminder that even the greatest empires are not lasting, and that everything sometimes changes. There are only the whispers of the old, powerful Rome and small kingdom created by powerful barbarian leaders. So, the end of the Western Roman Empire slowly disappeared. Barbarians' flags fly where eagles once fly up. But even in defeat, Rome's spirit remains, twisted into the fabric of these new kingdoms. As the old order falls apart, no one can't help but wonder if the fall of its Western counterpart influenced its Eastern part and medieval Europe too. Or is it the beginning of another long struggle with a new kingdom of Rome from an unknown source? Are these new kingdoms learning from the mistakes of Rome, or are they doomed to repeat them? Does anyone remember Rome's charm, or has it just become a distant memory?